Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. For one of the final times in the British jump season this campaign, we're talking about the jumps. It's the Sandown Finale day on the weekend. It's a good day's action and some good horses. Probably the best day's action we've had on the Sandown Finale day for a while. Willie Mullins bringing over plenty of horses to secure the British Championship. Paul Nicholls obviously sending out his big guns, and is Dan Skelton. That's before we start to talk about any of the other horses as well. It's me and Harry on the video tonight. Harry was last weekend, Scottish National last weekend. You managed to pick out Sharjah as well. You were one of the few that was on Sharjah over 3 miles. That must have been a nice little surprise for you.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a. I don't know how to describe Sharjah. Sharjah is Sharjah, isn't he? He's walked the walk and he's talked the talk for so many years, and he's been a brilliant servant. And look, now with obviously Willie Mullins winning the Scottish National, it looks like he's going to be his British Championship. So it's certainly one. As there's plenty of dogs that are flying around in my house tonight. But look, it's one of those. It's going. I think we're both going down to Sandown this weekend, so it should be a cracking weekend. We've got flat and jumps, so can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm down Sandown. Definitely the Saturday. I'm thinking about the Friday, but definitely the Saturday. And yeah, it should be really good. I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. Good couple of days of action. And hope Ralph, I saw his waggling tail there in the background. I hope he's looking forward to the Sandown action as much as we are.
He's just so annoying. He just keeps coming in, and then my sister's dog, she's now come around because she's away on holiday. Dog of the devil. She's now she's now flying around here, and look, I can't get a minute's of peace, man, to record a little podcast and talk about the racing. They won't leave me alone, Ash.
I can't believe it. We'll get them on the podcast, a special guest maybe in the future. We're going to be running through the Sandown card on the Saturday. It is, as we said, sort of a good card on the Friday with the flat, but we're going to be focusing on the jumps for the Saturday. Last week, we had the Chad Longston interview, and again, really thank you very much for your feedback on that. If you enjoy this video or any of our videos, please do smash the like button. And then we're going to be talking a little about the jumps. We haven't got an interview today, but we're going to go back to sort of more of the old style, just going through the main races, quick thoughts, early stage fancies, and then obviously we have finalised fancies on the weekend. And the first race, Harold, we're going to kick off with is the Grade 2 Oaksey Chase. Obviously won last year by Hewitt. Hewitt's gone on to much better things with winning the King George, and what was a thrilling King George, but he won the race last year. A bit of a better contest this year, must be said, with Jungle Boogie there, 7-2. Ahoy Senor looked a bit rejuvenated when he was second to Jerry Colom in the bowl, 4-1. Journey with Me, 11-2. My Old Mucker, the Real Whacker, 11-2. Hitman, 8-1. Asterion for Longe, 10s. Same price as stablemate James de Burle, and bigger about the rest. Harry, what's taking your fancy at this early stage for the Oaksey?
Look, there's two in here that I think have the potential to be miles clear than the rest. One of them is Ahoy Senor. The other one, it pains me to say, is your old best mate, the Real Whacker. But Ahoy Senor, look, you can't really trust him. But his form behind Jerry Colom last time out in the bowl was, in my opinion, that was one of the races of the season. And to come half a length second to Jerry Colom, who has proven himself to be, if the second best staying chaser, or bar if Galopin des Champs wasn't around, he'd probably be a Gold Cup winner. Corbett's Cross was in third. Now Corbett's Cross saw plenty of money prior to the bowl and ran accordingly. He ran an absolute blinder, just lost a little bit of momentum at the last, and that was kind of his race done. But take nothing away from Ahoy Senor. I thought that was a massive run in second behind Jerry Colom. And I think if a few more yards, I think he might have gone for. He might have gone past. Obviously, he didn't in the end, but take nothing away from him. It was a huge run. The only question mark is he now needs to back it up. And for the last year, he hasn't done that. It was a sign of the older Ahoy Senor. Lucinda Russell was confident she's got him back to form. Well, if she's confident again, it's good enough for me. If he is in the same sort of form, 4-1 that you can currently see now, that's a massive, massive price. He's by far better than the rest of these if on a going day. And like I said, the Real Whacker, he's the other one that would probably get as close to Jerry Colom as Ahoy Senor did. Obviously, he beat him this time last year, I should say, on the back of the Cheltenham Festival success. So look, Ahoy Senor for me, and the Real Wacker would be a close second. But it's I wouldn't be piling in anyway, because the two horses that you wouldn't really want to put your house on them.
Yeah, like the Real Wacker, everyone knows my love affair of the horse, and he'd be my second choice in this race as well. Just like I have a theory about the whole Jerry Colomb form line going into this, and look, I think that Brown Advisory form, first of all, from last season when Jerry Colomb was second, the Real Wacker was third. I think that was a really good piece of form, because Jerry Colomb obviously there was second. He's gone to win a couple of Grade 1s since. James de Burley is back in the field. He was a smart novice chase last season. Then he finished second in the Topham. Iron Maximus was back in the field. Now, I know he's improved since, but obviously he's won a Grand National and he's won a Drin more as well. And Gallia de la Torre is back down in the field. She's gone and finished second in the Classic chase under sort of a big weight. And then she's sort of a fair, decent mare for Dan Skelton. So I think that form's slightly better. I might actually almost say it's sort of slightly better than that Ancient Bowl form, purely on the fact that Jerry Colomb, I just think he underperformed in the Bowl. He still won, but he got himself out of trouble. And even Jack Kennedy said that wasn't maybe the best Jerry Colomb we've seen. Corbett's Cross was back in second, and then Shishkin, who faded, back in fourth, and Gentleman's Game was fifth, Brave Man's Game sixth, and Corbett's Cross, you still don't really know what that novice chasing form is like this season against the Open Company. So I'd take that in Hoy Senor form with just a touch of salt, maybe for me personally. But I do think the Real Wacker, he's had an easier season than some of these. He's only had the 4 runs, but one of them wasn't really a run because when we pulled up in the Paddy Power, then had a good race at the King George when he had no real sort of right to be winning that in the way the race was set out and the fact they went an absolute million miles an hour. It was on decent ground as well, but he still stuck on there to only beaten by 10 lengths. And then he ran a great race in the Cotswold and even ran a good race in the Gold Cup, but look, maybe just a touch too far and touch too classy for him. So I'd have him in my 2, but the one probably is top of my list is Appreciate It. I just think he's a decent horse, and look, you need that kind of speedy 3-miler or 2.5-miler for the Oaksey, because it's it's Sandown, especially on decent ground. Sandown, the fences come up to you. You need to be able to have a nice turn of foot away at the pond fence and to go away and then see it out up the hill. So he's got that speed about him, having won over 2 miles as a novice hurdler. He's placed plenty of times as a novice chaser over 2.5, but he's just slowly coming to hand. And then he split Fast or Slow, Galopin de Champs and the John Durkan. I know both of them would always come on for the run, but that's still pretty decent form. And they just want to run him a bit forward. They want to run him from the front and let him go with it. I think that's the perfect tactics for him. He ran last time out over 2.5. It was his first run for nearly 3 months, and he was sort of held up and was never really going to go and win it. But it was his first run on very, very heavy Fairy House ground. He returned back to a slightly sounder surface. He won on yielding as a maiden hurdle. So I think a sounder surface, 2 miles 6. I think these conditions could be right over his street. So Appreciate It. I'd say 12-1 if he's going, because he is entered for the celebration chase. But I think if they're bringing him over, they hopefully come here. I think 12-1 could be quite a big price, but Appreciate It. But yes, the one agreement we have in this race is the Real Wacker. And if he wins, there won't be a louder person in Sandown than myself. The Grade 1 celebration chase, perfect segue onto this. Appreciate is entered for both. But the celebration chase could be an absolute corker this year. El Fabiolo, 10-11, top in the market. Can he bounce back from the champion chase? John Bond, 5-2. Gaelic Warrior, is he going to come over? 9-2. Edwardstone, 6 is Captain Guinness, the reigning champion chaser, at 8-1. And Boottail, 25 is bigger. The rest. Harry, 3 nice horses entered. Probably a bit more than this. Gaelic Warrior, is he coming over? Is he not coming over? I've kept out the loop on this one.
Yeah, I think the case is both of them won't be coming over. I think they've got Punchestown around the corner. I understand the fact that they want to come and win the championship, but it'd be stupid to send arguably their 2 best chasers at 2 miles to both of the same race just to take on John Bond and win the championship when seemingly they've already won it. I think the 150,000 or something in head. So look, for me personally, Ash, people were moaning about Fabiolo last time and him falling. People were crabbing Paul Town and pulling the horse up. Look, El Fabiolo is prone to this. We've known this from his novice chase days. He can belt a fence. And it just so happened to be that he belted a fence on the way round in the champion chase at 2-9 as a 2-9 favourite. And that was it. That was game over. Does that mean the horse's career is done? No. He's by far the best in this race. Ratings suggest that. John Bond's still got £5 to make on him. And everyone will know I'm a massive, massive John Bond fan. I loved what he did at Aintree last time, beating Conflated, who I thought ran an absolute corker behind him. But El Fabiola is just in a different league, and it pains me to say that. It really does, Ash. It really does. But if El Fabiola gets round, there's no way that John Bond can beat him. I seriously believe that. And 10-11, people say it's skinny, but prior to Cheltenham, you were looking at this match was 1-2, 5-2, for example. I mean, John Bond was about 4-1 for the champion chase. After obviously you finished behind Elixir de Nuts. But look, if you're looking outside, Captain Guinness, he was second in this race behind John Bond last year. He's 8-1. He's obviously now a champion chase winner. I'm glad he's got his day in the sun. I've given him a little bit of shit. I really have, for not being a grade 1 off. So I'll put my hands up. Whether the race fell apart, well, it kind of did in the champion chase. But look, you can't take anything away from him. He is a champion chase winner. And Edward Stone, who obviously was pretty close to John Bond in the Tingle Creek. So it's an absolute corker. But for me personally, El Fabiola will win. John Bond will be second. And Gaelic Warrior won't even have left at Clough Sutton.
If Gaelic Warrior comes over, I'd be with him. And I like your analysis on the race. But I probably wouldn't look. I had a sort of an opinion on Gaelic Warrior coming into this recording, and then sort of like when Harry told me he may not be coming over, I was a little bit sort of rabbit in the headlights. But if I was siding on one side of the fence of the two, I probably would be on the John Bond side of things. So I know it doesn't help you people at home the fact we've picked both the top favs here, but my case for John Bond is. Look, I just like El Fabiola is very good. He is very good. But just on maybe pure form lines, you can maybe make a case that John Bond's a big price at 5-2. And the fact that El Fabiola, when he won the Healy Way, beating Phil Dorr by just over 5, fair enough, entitled to win, sent off 1-5. Had to be shaken up a little bit, but he was given away to it. I completely appreciate that. But had to be shaken up a little bit to get past Phil Dorr and to see him off after the last. Phil Dorr hasn't really sort of done much to frank the form. He has smashed in the Ryanair and then smashed at Fairy House in the Grade 2, which he kind of had chance to win there. It was that Fairy House chase. The Grade 2. Mascada is sort of, I'm not sure about the form lines there. And Jungle Boogie was running first run for ages and was always going to come on for it. John Bond, he disappointed as such in the Clarence House, but the way he picked himself up after doing what he did to himself at the top of the hill at one of the fences to then get where he did was impressive on his own. And maybe have a question mark with how he went through that race kind of thing. But I think he put that away at Aintree and did a really good job in the Melling chase. Into unknown territory. He beat Conflated, who, lest we forget, on his day is a decent horse. He was sort of third in the Gold Cup last year, and Protectorate obviously won the Ryanair, like scampered away from him in the Ryanair. He was a solid third, ran his race. So I just say on pure form as John Bond. Like, he won his race last year, beat Captain Guinness, who's won a champion chase since. I maybe make the case for John Bond as a 5-2 play in a race like this. And
what I would say, Ash, is look, I'm a huge John Bond fan, but Nico de Boinville has to get him in front of El Fabiola. He has to be in front of him the whole way round. He can't be behind him because he simply won't get past him. And he has to force a mistake out of him. Now, the railway fences, they could be the deciding factor down here. They really could. And my only thing is that now John Bond's gone up in trip, I just think he will be better over that distance. And do you not think? I'm not. Look, he's got all the class in the world, but if El Fabiola wasn't there, he'd be a champion chase winner. But if I just think that he's now, you don't want to be planning your season hoping that someone like El Fabiola doesn't obviously get there, but he just screams Ryanair. He just screams getting a trip, and I just think they've been persisting at a trip, hoping that he'd be this 2-mile championship winner when he might just be a championship winner at 2.5 mile.
Potentially, yeah. I thought he was there to be shot at in the Melling, though, and he did enough to get the job done. I think there's been no problems with him over 2 miles, and even beating Edwardstone in the Schlur and then Tingle Creek, that's just pretty good considering what Edwardstone went on to do in the Game Spirit. So I just think there's a lot stacking on John Bond's side, and I'm almost thinking in my head that there's a lot to John Bond. And I'm just sort of saying, well, let's take it. Let's just sort of forget that because El Fabiola is meant to be this big thing. But what if he's not this? What if he's not what everyone's talking about, kind of thing? And you've got a lot of established form lines, established facts to back your case up for John Bond. So with that in mind, I'd maybe be inclined to stick on the John Bond camp. But it is looking to be a proper contest, and one to properly savour on Saturday. The Bet365 Gold Cup, known as the Whitbread to many, one of the feature events, worth 95 grand for the winner, could be a big sway as to what happens in the championship. It looks like Willie Mullins has it wrapped up, but a couple of Dan Skelton and Paul Nicholls horses in here who could potentially cause an upset. But at the top of the market, Kitty's Light is the fav 4-1 after his big run in the Grand National, finishing fifth. 300-5, 7-1. Nick Rocket 8-1. Am I Right 10s. Elena Kakuna same price. Lamilos just a shade bigger at 11s. Guetapan Kalonge 16-1, same price as Kanondu Kwetu, and Your Own Story. Harry, looking towards the top of the market here, or looking a bit further down?
Yeah, look, 300-5 has been on my radar for quite a while for this race, Ash. And look, just because Willie Mullins targets this meeting, Paul Nicholls is renowned to do well, and he's still in the hunt for the Trainers' Championship. If he has a couple of winners before on the card, it could go down to this. And look, 300-5 has been a long time between drinks before he got his head in front, but I was kind of amazed at how he still managed to win at Ascot last time out. He didn't jump too well early on. He kind of lost the lead, and then he kind of had to settle in behind the leaders. And then he regained the lead and jump in the last, and he just went clear up the running. I thought it was kind of quite snug the way he won. It was a decent race. The likes of Ballygriffin Cottage, who ran pretty well in the Scottish National last weekend. Chamblou was in there. Victorino, Rapper. I think it was a pretty decent race for what it was worth, and I don't think the drying ground will be a bad factor in his chances. I think if anything, it will probably be to his favour. So I think 300-5 has got a massive chance. He was obviously fourth behind Kitty's Light in the Scottish National, but he was obviously giving him £7 that day. I just think he's got a real big chance at 300-5. And look, if his jumping holds up, I think Ascot and Sandown are kind of similar in the fact that they're pretty stiff. Jumping tracks, he's got to jump well, and he's going to have to carry top weight, isn't he? But you carry top weight for a reason. You're the best horse in the race. I think Harry Cobden will. I don't think he'd be swapping his mount for anything in the race anyway, and that's who I think will win. 300-5.
Very good, very good. For me, I'm gonna give you one along the 300-5 form lines, but just a slightly bigger price. Well, a slightly bigger price is a much bigger price, but I've never really been a fan of We've All Been Caught, but he's crept down to a mark of 132, which makes him slightly interesting here. Look, on his first run of the season, he finished third behind Flooring Porter and Broadway Boy. Broadway Boy was giving him £5 that day, and we know what he's gone to do since. But what he's gone to do since is then win a handicap at Cheltenham, I should say. And he was beating 300-5 that day, giving £4 away. So I just think there's a nice form on there. And even like Protectorate came out and won the Ryanair. So I think to get that close to Broadway Boy on first start of the season, I know he was absolutely smashed in that November race, in that novice chase, that listed one. But I'm kind of putting a line through that. He's a bit of a tricky customer. He's either on form or he's not on form. And I think that form went behind Flooring Porter and Broadway Boy is quite good. And then even sort of going back further back, the novice hurdler, who's sort of well tried. He won that maiden hurdle at Cheltenham, beating Rock My Way. Decent, not decent bit of form as such, but he was good that day because the pair pulled clear of some fair horses. But even before that, he was second on his first start over hurdles to Hermes Allen in the Grade 2 at Cheltenham, which is pretty decent form itself. And then he came back at Cheltenham, first run all year, and just didn't really pick up. But it was on heavy ground. And he has form on soft ground, but at the same time, his best form probably comes on slightly better ground. And I maybe give him a chance here. Just bit of a run under his belt, bit of time as well. And they were purring over him, but before that Ultima, the Willie Twiston Davis couldn't really sort of get his horse's name out his mouth, and they were talking about him for the Ultima. So I think what Mark 132 could do, We've All Been Caught a little bit of disservice. So I give him a chance for Nigel Twiston Davis, but one slightly towards more the top of the market. Lamilos, reading comments in the week, this has been the plan for him, for Dan Skelton. He's won on good ground before. He won the Coral Gold Cup on good ground. Horse that came out to I think Remaster came out and bolstered up next time out. Korak Rambler was obviously in fourth. Even going back, Ansam was back in sixth. Bustleton was back in fifth. So a good Coral Gold Cup there back in 2022. And look, this was meant to be like a bit of a world beater last year, being prepped for the national. just things didn't go right for him, but he had a couple of issues. They sorted them out with him. We were on the live, the Cheltenham Festival live, where was it Nick Pearce gave him as one to watch for the Thames. Again, ran a very valid race over hurdles, but this has been the plan for a while. Bit of Kitty's light about him in the fact they've been running over hurdles and now come back over fences. I'd give him a chance here. So Lamilos and we've all been caught.
Talk about Lamilos though. I mean, Lamilos was 28s or 25s when Nick gave it out on the YouTube, and I think did he go off favourite for the Potemps or something?
6-1, absolutely smashed.
He was like, it was one of the most well-backed horses of the day, and obviously it didn't work out, but who knows? Who knows?
I just think better ground could just to do him a little bit better potentially, and yeah, I'd give him a chance here, Lamilos. I think he could do something. But yeah, 365, bit of a puzzle, but yeah, you could even that Nick Rocket, based on form lines with Monty Starr and Corbett's Cross, that could be interesting as well. But 8-1's touch skinny for him, but he could go onto the agenda as well. Anyway, finally, select hurdle. We don't really have fancies for this because there are no prices at the time of speaking. But the entries at the time of recording on Tuesday evening look quite interesting. Asterion Forlonge's in there, Blue King Daru, Botox Haas, Brewing Up a Storm, Imperi Pass, probably the big one there, Langer Dan, Ballyadam, Call Me Lord, My Drogo, love that horse, Sir Gerhard, Katira, West Balboa. I'm going to kick off, Harry, just say that I think Blue King Daru could be interesting if he turns up here. He's had a bit of a break, but it's because they had a small setback with him, I think Paul was saying, but he's been very much planned for this race in mind. He's won on decent ground before. That form when beating Strong Leader at Ascot in November has worked out well because Strong Leader's obviously come out since and won the Grade 1 Liverpool Hurdle at Aintree. Things didn't really go right for him in the long walk at Ascot, but come off from a nice break, and he won first time out this season. So I think Blue King Daru interests me. Anything in the select hurdle, Harry? No, that's fair. Wait for
look, if you put a gun to my head, and if I think how many are entered now? If the 14 that were entered all turned up, you'd have to be signing with Imperi Pass because he's just a class act in this. But Langadan, I'd love to see him rock up. I'd love to see Langadan rock up in this because he's now turned into everybody's favourite horse. Like he's just the way they've campaigned him. Dan Skelton's getting slagged off, and now he's like a hero. He's super, but fair play.
Yeah, he ran a cracker. Everyone knew it was a Grade 1 horse, didn't they? And he just he showed it to me. He's an absolute shoo-in for the Coral Cup. What's everyone on about? We'll go on to then naps and best bets. So anywhere around the card at Sandown, anything you want to mention from other races at Sandown or anything come up in the week, floor is yours. If not, what will be your best fancy at this early stage?
Yeah, I'll just give you my nap of the weekend. Go to War in the opener for Fergal. I've loved this horse ever since he unseated Paddy at Exeter on his hurdling debut. It wasn't to be, and he did jump like a novice, and it wasn't very pretty to watch if you were backing him at skinny odds on. But then he went to Taunton, he was a bit better, and then he went to Ludlow, and he absolutely bolted up. And then obviously they sorted his wind out and everything, tinkered with that, and he's just got better and better. And look, he's on an unchanged mark of 1, 2, 3. And the fact that Paddy Brennan gave me and you and Lee when we went to the Breast Bet Greyhound evening in Sheffield as Go to War as his horse to follow for the year. I think if they'd have said that this horse had been running off 1, 2, 3 come the Sandown Jumps Finale meeting, they'd have snapped your hand off. Like I just think he's so well in. And I just think 12-1 is a huge price. I think they're pretty shrewd operators, aren't they, the O'Briens? And it'd be interesting to know who would ride him. Maybe Johnny Burke, I've seen as we record today on Tuesday, Johnny Burke had a few rides, maybe one ride on a horse of Fergal's. Could be him, could be Conor Brace, could be absolutely anyone. Your guess is as good as mine, Ash. But no, Go to War, 1, 2, 3. I think this horse is absolutely thrown him.
Yeah, look, Go Towar's obviously on my agenda. Fergal gave it as a horse to watch for the back end of this season when I spoke to him before the festival, so he has to have a chance. He's the unexposed profile, and you're not looking on too much form as such, but he is unexposed off 1, 2, 3. So he would be on my agenda. I just want to look at that race a bit closer before I make a final decision, because there are some nice types in there. And there are some differing form lines. What we want to see, like, it's different form lines going against different form lines. It's what we want to see. So he would be on my agenda, but I just want to have a closer look at that race before finalising anything, because they're all like in that mid, like that 120 to 130 mark, and some of them have got form of Jericho to Repine or anything like that. It's just like, it's too much for my little brain to work out at this stage. But yeah, he'd be on my agenda. As for my best bet from the race we discussed, I'd almost say appreciate it if he turns up in the Oaksey chase. I think he'd have a decent chance. And yeah, look, he's just got a great chance, hasn't he? And conditions should suit quite well. Harry, it's been emotional, been fantastic. We'll
As
be back.
always.
As always, back 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Are you penciled in for that with your?
Well, look, I am supposed to be. I am working down there. So if you see any dodgy social media posts from either the Sandowns Instagram channels or the jockey clubs, then you can point your blame towards me. No, I'm on my best behaviour this weekend. So no drinking, no going out Friday night, obviously, because I'll be down in Sandown. But I might have might test a Guinness in the Premier Inn. So no, you're going down as well, aren't you, sir?
Yeah, I'll be there. If we're doing the Saturday live, I'll be doing it either. I'm going out with my dad, which would be cool, and I either do it at a service station or on.
I'll pass the reins over to you then. I'll pass the reins over to you for the Saturday. You can be in. They can have the trustworthy hands of you. So
yeah,
no, been a pleasure.
Well, me and Lee will steer the ship to a much better place. I think that's only fair.
Exactly. At least he'll get back on course anyway. Because I mean, if I was in charge, we'd be absolutely anywhere, wouldn't we? So.
But if you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe. The feedback's been very good, and obviously sort of a bit of a turning point now in the season. I know Punchestown's next week, but a bit of a turning point now, changing over from jumps to flat. God, the Guineas is only sort of 10, 11 days away. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm trying to get the baby face cam as well. That's got to go. That's got to go. So I need to grow a beard. The surname is Beard, Ash. Look, it's been 20, nearly 21 years, and I still can't grow a beard. It's really winding me up.
Anyone who just can't grow a beard, it's just awful. But look, yes, changing point in the season. Guineas next week. I'm meant to be in uni mode at the moment. That's why I'm in my edit studio, as you can see over here. I've been doing my sort of final year project, but I also did take an hour to have a look at the Guineas earlier, and I think I found a couple that interest me a little bit. So I'm looking forward to talking about them. Did enjoy? Please do like, subscribe. Make sure to follow all of us on Twitter. Myself, Harry at RacingLee1, and the OFLH Racing, just a tongue twister in itself. Go follow them all on Twitter. We've also got Instagram and TikTok as well, so go over check there. If I'm having a bet this week, please do gamble responsibly. Check out our Twitter pages for any fancies that crop up midweek. But until next week, or until whenever you see you next, we look forward to seeing you very, very soon.